fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Welcome to What the Fuck Are You Reading with Kali and Kaci,
a podcast and book club for all of the book lovers and shit talkers.
Now we are on day 2 of The Night Shift by Alex Finley. We start on day 2 with Ella, and she is asking Jessie what she lied about. And a cop pulls up. Remember, they're still at this train tracks or whatever. So this cop pulls up, and Jessie takes off. And Ella follows her. And Jessie approaches a group of homeless kids, and they ask her why she's there and tell her she shouldn't have come back after the last time. Because last time, she apparently broke somebody's nose.
Okay.
Ella drags her away, and they catch an Uber and go to Ella's mom's house since she has been kicked out of her home. And Ella comes from money. A butler greets her at the door. Kind of money.
Okay.
Jessie confesses to Ella that she had gone to the ice cream store to confront one of the victims, Madison. And this was the lie because she had told the cops that she went to the ice cream store to just use the bathroom.
Okay.
So, okay, that's not looking real good for you, Jessie. Madison and her friends had been talking shit about Jessie, and Jessie wanted to put a stop to it.
Period.
And that's all Jessie would say about it. And then they went to bed. So now we're back with Keller, whose husband, oh my lord, is so fucking annoying. So Keller's rescuing of the janitor's son the previous day made national news, and husband is not near mad enough about it. I mean, not that I think it's great that it's not that I think I'm mad that she helped the kid, but you could have gone about it a little differently, I think, or not endangered your children. I don't know. Okay, maybe I'm wrong on that. But the Secret Service calls Keller and tells her that Rusty Whitaker, which is Chris and Vince's dad, is being investigated for counterfeit cigarettes, which sounds so fucking random. Did you think that was the most random?
I didn't even know that was a thing until this book.
The agent explains that this is a huge money-making business, even more so than drugs. So
not around these parts.
This money often funds terrorist groups. And I just don't think that Rusty Whitaker is smart enough to be some drug kingpin. You know what I'm saying?
No.
So the agent lets Keller know that they plan on busting Rusty that night because he just got a new shipment of these great value cigarettes.
Sounds terrible. Y'all gonna end up with a lung infection.
Would you like to tell them about your lung infection?
No, okay. We do not talk about her.
Okay. The vlogger posts a video, the one that Chris follows, and he posts a video showing that he's in New York City.
Okay.
So Chris wants to find him so bad. He wants to find this vlogger to see if it's been. God, and Chris's dad, it keeps going on about Rusty. And Chris has a scar on his hand from where Rusty literally held his hand down onto the stove for drinking the last Coke. Like a hot stove. And so,
that's
my first thought.
2008 Kaylee.
I was just thinking that my kids' hands would be so fucked up if they got burned every time they stole the last Coke. Okay? Little brats. Then it's not really relevant to the story, but Chris's client offers to suck his dick for a cherry Coke, and I just thought that was hilarious. That's all you want? A cherry Coke?
Damn. Prison
that costs
is tough.
$2 in the machine.
Not worth the blowjob, that's for damn sure.
So Keller and Atticus go to interview Walter Young, who is Mandy's dad, one of the Blockbuster victims. And he doesn't talk to him. He slams the door in their face, and they're not able to interview him. So what the hell is that about? Why wouldn't he want to help? Then Keller decides that next she wants to interview the lead detective from the Blockbuster case. There's 2. One of them is dead, and the other one retired shortly after the murders. Ella and Jessie are still at Ella's mom's the next morning. Jessie is very confused about Ella being so rich because Ella went to a public high school that was, like an average school. She had to have a job at Blockbuster, and she just doesn't understand, like, why is Ella having to do all these things when she has money? And Ella
Mhm.
explained to her that her dad insisted on that after her older brother OD'd. Her dad blamed it on them having such an easy life and having so much money, so he tried to make Ella have a normal life and send her to a public school and instead of boarding
Thanks a lot,
school.
big brother.
Yeah, then she almost gets fucking murdered. So, really,
Have I
thanks a
learned
lot.
my lesson, Dad?
Ella's parents split up after she survived. No, they didn't. Did I make that
No,
up?
they didn't. Yeah, you
Oh,
literally did.
okay. Well, anyway, her mom never forgave her dad, for putting Ella in that situation, and Ella's dad died when she was in college. And then it says that Ella's real name, her mom calls her Eloise. I don't know why I thought that was so funny, but you don't see a whole lot of young Eloises.
Uh-uh.
So at this point, I hadn't realized, I guess I forgot already or wasn't paying attention, that Ella had been stabbed too during
Well, no,
the
that
Blockbuster
but I
murder.
thought she got hit over the head with a bat. I thought that was, like, the whole thing.
Well, she was near death in whatever happened. She had lost so much blood or whatever. So I think, anyway, it just, Jesse didn't get hurt, I guess. Did get hit over the head, but she went to the hospital and she was fine. Whereas, like,
Oh, maybe I
Ella
got
was
them switched
unconscious
up.
and almost died.
Okay.
Yeah. Jesse for sure got hit in the head. I just was, I guess, like a little, like, I wonder why Ella almost died and Jesse didn't almost die,
Mhm.
even though they were both survivors. And I'm assuming that this is the same killer, you know?
Mhm. Well, good night, pretty girl.
Um,
Ugh.
ugh, yeah. So it flashes back to the Blockbuster job, and Candy and Mandy invite Ella and Katie to a party after their shift. And Katie, who is one of the other victims, is from a very religious family. She doesn't fit in because of that. Her parents don't let her do anything, and Ella doesn't fit in because she's so rich. So both of them want to go to this party. Like, they want to fit in
Mhm.
with the other kids. And it's a very small town. They go drink in a parking lot, and then they wind up in some kid's basement, and Vince shows up to the party. And Katie immediately, like, falls for him. So interesting. Katie is in love with Vince.
And
Hmm.
she's dead at maybe Vince's hands.
Possibly. So Keller goes to talk to the detective that retired. Keller goes to talk to a detective about the incident the day before with the standoff and Keller's involvement. And it's not the asshole guy. This is a reasonable guy. But Keller brings up how Arpeggio never let her in on what the killer had said to both girls. Good night, pretty girl. And he basically just says to take it up with Arpeggio, that he doesn't get involved. So Arpeggio is an asshole, okay? He, like,
Mhm.
runs the show around here, and he doesn't particularly like Keller, is what I'm getting from this. Says, like, sounds good. Like, you just missed him though. He got a big break in the case. And then he will not tell her what the big break in the case is. Like, why wouldn't you just fucking tell her? Like,
Yeah.
she's there to help. She's there to help you, and you can't even get any info, like, out of them. Like, I was so annoyed by this. Like, I understand she's FBI and they're not, but she was sent just to help them. So, like, why are y'all being an asshole to her? That really aggravated me. So Atticus lets Killer know, like, that he kind of thought that the first investigation, the Blockbuster investigation, was lazy, that they just were too eager to believe that Vince was the one that did it. When
Yeah.
there were discrepancies, like Vince's dad having the car that day, and Vince had told Chris that he loved Katie. I think what he actually told him was that he loved a girl. Vince told Chris that he loved Katie, that someone had seen Vince arguing in the parking lot with Katie, though. Someone did see them
Mhm.
arguing. So they haven't found Chris yet because they don't know what he changed his name to after the adoption. So,
Mhm.
but they are looking for him. And Keller and Atticus get to go along with the Secret Service to go bust the counterfeit cigarette ring. And Keller talks about her relationship with her dad, who is this high power attorney type, and he looks down on her for being in the FBI.
What?
Yeah, I don't know, like, "Oh, you're in the FBI?" Like, I'd be pretty
Loser.
proud, I guess, if
Yeah,
my kid was
shit.
yeah, if my kid was in the FBI. And
Everybody in this
then
book
they don't
got
have a
daddy issues.
relationship. Everybody does. The reason that he and Keller don't have a relationship anymore is because he doesn't like Bob, and I just have to say that neither
Same.
do I. Fucking hate Bob. I'm with you, Dad. So Keller and Atticus go find this lead detective while he's fishing, and he gives them a little bit of information about the case that we didn't know before. So they don't know who reported the tip that Katie had been arguing with someone in the parking lot. They assumed it was Vince, but they don't know that it was Vince. Like, okay, like that's important.
Mhm.
And then because I feel like we've been taking it as fact this whole time that Vince and Katie were the ones who had been arguing,
Yeah.
but maybe not. And they also don't know who tipped the police off about Vince's car being in the parking lot that night.
Oh, it was an anonymous caller.
Yes, it was an anonymous caller, so they didn't really have anything to go on, so they just went ahead and brought Vince in. And then they found the knife in the school locker, so after Vince disappeared, they just assumed it was him that did it and that he was on the
Mhm.
run because of that. So we are fleshing out the details of the Blockbuster case a little more at this point. Ella and Katie had walked into the break room together. Ella was immediately knocked out and Katie was stabbed to death. Then the killer stabbed Ella in the chest. So Ella did get stabbed for sure.
Okay. So technically Ella
And
was not left alive.
no,
Like, I
she
feel
was
like
not left
Jesse
alive. She
was
got
left alive, but Ella
yeah,
was
she got
not.
stabbed in the chest. I thought that that was like a pretty big, thing to note.
Yeah, yeah.
So Grasso said that Ellen never told him what the killer had said. He didn't know.
Mhm.
So he was not hiding that from anybody. One thing that did get left out of the official reports, though, and it's good, there was a rumor that Katie had been pregnant with Vince's child and got an abortion. And
Mm.
this never came out because someone in the prosecutor's office was friends with Katie's mom, but Grasso does
Ugh.
not remember who.
Yeah, I'm so sure.
How could you not remember who? This last case that you ever did before you retired that was never solved. Like, I feel like you should still be like drinking coffee and trying to figure this case out. Isn't that
Our
what
justice
happens?
system in a nutshell.
Figure out this fucking case. Getting on my nerves for 15 years.
Don't piss me off.
Don't piss me off. So, are you gonna I was basically thinking like, "Okay, Grosso, like, do you remember like, are you gonna do anything? Like, just get back to your fucking fishing then."
Yeah. Ugh.
Jeez. So annoyed. Ella brings Jesse home, and there are cops all over Jesse's foster house. And Jesse insists that she wants to go in alone because she doesn't want to get Ella in trouble because Ella's a therapist who has had this kid out like all night long, kept her at her mom's house. Um,
Yes.
After picking her up from shoplifting the day before. So anyway, she
Worst
don't wanna get Ella
therapist
in trouble.
ever.
Yeah. Actually, she sounds pretty cool. I wish my therapists were, like, halfway cool.
Mine is really cool.
Okay, I had the worst therapist in the whole world, and I still happen to run into him occasionally, and it's always the most awkward interact because obviously I quit going to see him, but he still asks like, "Hi, how are you? How's it going?" I'm like, "Oh my
That's one thing that
god."
I love about Lafayette is how big this place is that I don't ever run into people like that.
So awkward. And, I don't want a man therapist. I had a male therapist because it's what my insurance covered or whatever. Like, that was who was in network. Like, I can't tell you things. Lord. So we find out that Ella has a pill problem on top of her other issues. Okay. Keller goes to interview Candy's mom, which is one of the Blockbuster victims. And she was like obviously a loving mom. Keller asks her if she remembers Candy ever talking about Vince. And Candy's mom only remembers Candy talking about Katie dating a boy her parents wouldn't approve of. She does not specifically remember it being Vince.
Mhm.
Um, She also recalls Candy telling her that one of her coworkers was pregnant and that the boyfriend was obsessive and abusive. Candy and Mandy both wanted to confront this guy, whoever that was. So Candy's mom's theory is that Candy and Mandy both confronted Vince and that he came back and committed the murders. So was he like mad that Katie had had an abortion? Like, why would he kill Katie if he was obsessed with her? So I just didn't that theory didn't quite sit with me, but it did. I'm still thinking less and less that it's Vince, because I just think that it's very pointed for her to point out that she doesn't remember it being Vince. She just
Yeah.
remembers it being someone. Then Ella asked the lady if Candy ever mentioned Ella, and her mom says, "I always get them mixed up." And I got a freaking chill again because was Ella the one that was actually dating Vince? I'm getting a bad feeling.
Mhm.
Okay, so Ella goes to visit the principal, Mr. Stedman. He's unmarried. She asks him about Jesse's past, finds out that her parents died in a car accident, and he also did not know what the incident was that Jesse was involved in. So the last school never told. We already found out, like, the last school didn't believe in telling, but gossip says that the incident involved a teacher, whatever the fuck that means. Like, did she fight the teacher? Did she fuck the teacher?
Did
What'd she
she
do with
fuck
the teacher?
and fight the teacher?
And fight the teacher? Fight and fuck the teacher? I don't know. Something happened with the teacher. Keller recaps our leads so far. Katie was pregnant. She was from an uber religious family and keeping a boyfriend a secret. The guy she was seeing was obsessive and maybe abusive, and her two coworkers wanted to confront him. So, did this result in the boyfriend murdering Katie in a rage and committing the other murders to cover it up? Because that's the only thing that makes sense, I guess. Like,
Mhm.
either you kill the girlfriend because you're mad, and then you have to hide everybody else's murder. That's the only way that that makes sense.
Yeah, but, like, motive is not strong enough for me.
Okay. The task force hid the fact that Katie had been pregnant because Katie's mom had a connection with a detective, but we don't know who.
Mm.
And they go to interview Katie's parent, and they also slam the door in their face. So, two of the fathers have now refused to speak with Keller. Then we end the chapter with Atticus getting a message saying that Arpeggio the asshole has made an arrest in the ice cream murder case.
Thanks for telling somebody, asshole.
Exactly. And then, so jump to Chris. Chris finds out that they made an arrest and that it's a high school kid. And now everyone in the office is worried that they'll be chosen to represent him because after what happened to Vince's lawyer being
Mhm.
like completely ostracized, nobody wants to be this kid's lawyer except for Chris, who volunteers.
Yeah, I don't think he should have done that, but hey.
He won't be the only lawyer on the case, but it is a big step in his career, and it'll be a big case. So he volunteers and his friend Julia volunteers. So do you think I think it was very inappropriate for him to volunteer.
Yeah, like, nobody knows, but, like, I don't like, that's way too close. Like, that I don't like that.
And if somebody finds out, 'cause I'm thinking it's not that he shouldn't want to, but it's that if somebody finds out how close
It's
he's
a
connected
mistrial.
to it, they're like, "Yeah, it's gonna mess shit up."
Mhm.
Ella figures out which teacher it was that got fired from Jesse's old school.
Mhm.
Because she's trying to figure out, like, she's just going on rumor right now, but, rumor was that there was a teacher involved. So she looked and saw who was employed the year before and who was not there anymore the following
Mhm.
year. And it's Chad Park. He's an English teacher, and he also ran the school newspaper, which makes sense because Jesse wants to grow up and be a reporter.
Mhm.
So he now runs a landscaping business. Keller finds a picture of him online from a school field trip, and Jesse is in it. And it says that Jesse is gazing at him adoringly. Ugh, gross. I hate that.
Yuck.
I
I remember thinking, like, when I was reading this, did you ever have, like, a crush on any of your teachers?
don't think I ever had a male teacher.
Um, I had plenty
Well,
of male
I had a
teachers,
male
but, like
coach teacher, male coach
oh, well,
teachers.
yeah. But, like, even the
Mr.
teachers,
Corn?
like
Mr. Corn!
we love you, Mr. Corns, just in case you ever listen to this. But not
Sorry,
like
Mr.
that.
Corns.
Okay, but, like, genuinely, I never had a crush, like, even on the teachers that other girls had crushes on, I was like, "Ooh, girl, that's our teacher."
Mhm. Yeah, I was trying to think if there was anybody there was one, I can't say his name. He was kinda cute. I think he had a crush on our mom.
Who didn't?
Okay, yeah. So, the answer is no, I never had a crush on anybody who didn't have a crush on my mom first.
Wait, I'm so you can, like, cut this out if you want to, but I'm so remembering the time that your ex-husband said that he was gonna get a naked tattoo of mom on his arm. We
It might
had
have
the
been the
hot
only time
mom,
he was
like,
ever funny.
we always had the hot mom, but it's because she was 18 when she had you, so we had the young hot mom.
Mhm. Yes. So, anyways, Ella goes to see this guy, Chad Parks, who's the teacher that is no longer a teacher. And she tells him about Jesse surviving the attack, and he tries to kick her out of his office. But Ella stands her ground and threatens to out him on the rumors that he was, I don't know the right word for this. I said molesting because it makes me very uncomfortable to say like he was in a relationship with this young girl or whatever. Like
Mhm,
I don't know what the correct term is, but it really grossed me out. So Chad does talk to Ella and he tells her like how smart Jessie is and she's been passed around foster homes, and Ella asks him if they were romantically involved and he says no. Like he believably says no. He says that he started to feel like she had a crush on him, so he made sure to never be one-on-one with her. He quit taking field trips, like, he tried to distance himself from her, and she started
mhm.
following him around, stalking him online, which doesn't sound unbelievable because of
No,
what.
I totally believed him throughout this whole conversation.
And then Jessie, she had already told Ella that she had stalked her online and found out about, like, her
Mhm.
fiancé, and anyway,
Very believable.
it sounds believable, so I believe him. And it gets wild though. His fiance goes to his house one night and finds Jesse naked in his bed. And he's not there, just Jesse.
Ugh,
Jesse is naked in his bed. And the next day, the principal gets an email of Jesse naked in Chad's bed.
that's right, she took a picture of naked
She
Jessie.
took a picture of this naked
So savage.
teenager and emailed it to the principal.
That is savage.
But the fiance swears she didn't send it. She says somebody must have hacked into her account to send it. So it's just like, it's not looking good on Jesse.
Mm-mm.
So anyway, moving on. Chris goes to interview his new client and it's a girl. Like, I wasn't expecting that it was gonna be a girl, that that is arrested for the
Mm.
ice cream murder. That says that she looks like a normal high school girl, that she's pretty, and that when the defense team goes to interview her, she says she'll only speak to Ella because Ella's a survivor too. So, it's fucking Jessie.
Jaw dropped for me when I
Yes,
read that.
it's Jessie. I didn't realize, like, I feel like that took me way too long to figure out
Mhm.
because,
Same, I
that
was
should have
like,
been
"Am I
pretty
dumb?"
obvious. So no wonder there were so many cops at her house. Little badass Jessie claps back at Chris and says, "I know who you are, Chris Whitaker." Like she
Whoa!
uses his it's a birth name.
I love her. Oh god.
So the little journalist, she is smart. No one else has figured it out but Jessie.
I never for a second thought that Jessie did this.
Oh, I can't say that. I can't say that.
No, I was like, "She's too smart
She
to get
finds
caught. I
out.
know she didn't do it."
Well, that's true. She is smart. So Ella finds out from the news that Jesse's been arrested, and it's from a tip from a fellow classmate. And then she finds Jesse's phone hidden in her car. Jessie hid her cell phone in Ella's car
See?
before
Too
she went
smart.
back home.
She's too smart.
Well, I don't know. She did hide it somewhere that it got found. Yeah, I mean, she's smart, but she does some dumb shit too. So it's looking real bad for Jessie. One of the victim's cell phones is found hidden in the hospital room where Jessie was. And they found all of her research for the blockbuster killings in her room. So they think that she's
Mhm.
a copycat. They think that she's
Yep.
doing a copycat killing. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. And then Keller's husband, jumps to Keller. Her fucking husband wants to name her twins Luke and Leia. I hate him. I hate him so much. So Chris brings Ella in, and Ella explains how she met Jessie the previous day to talk to her as one survivor to another, and that they just had a connection. That's why she was asking for her. But the problem is that Ella isn't protected by attorney-client privilege. So anything that Jessie tells her is fair game for the prosecution. So Ella ends up joining the team as a consultant, and so that she can actually help. And only after that does she hand over Jessie's phone and tell them that Jessie lied to the police about why she was at the ice cream shop. Ella told her defense team that she went there to confront one of the girls.
Mhm.
And Chris starts researching to see if he's legally obligated to turn the phone in. I'm like, you're not even legally obligated to be on this fucking team. Like, you shouldn't be on this.
Worry
You're
about
legally
yourself.
obligated to not be on this defense team. Yeah, so I was just like, okay, like you're worried about this rule, but you're not worried about that rule. So if they don't turn it in, it's possibly obstruction of justice. If they do turn it in, it's going to seal Jessie's fate as being guilty.
Mhm.
If it says anything on there about if she's like threatening the girls or anything like that. So Chris's girlfriend, fiance, whatever, shows up at the office and she is pissed that he's going to defend this case because of what it could potentially do to his career.
Mhm.
And she also points out to him, rightfully so, that this is a conflict of interest and threatens to expose his past and real name to his boss. Like, okay, like, don't take it. Like, do you have any kind of loyalty to me? Like, if we're engaged, like, my secret is your secret, bitch.
But baby, I love you.
Yeah. Like, no, if Burke thinks that he's not obligated to keep my secrets, he's very fucking wrong. He is. Chris leaves the office to go visit his foster parents. They have a weekly dinner, and we find out a little more about Chris's bio mom. She had left Chris and Vince in the care of Rusty, who was super abusive, without even saying goodbye. So, which who does that? Like, I might leave, but I would damn sure drag my kids along with me,
Mhm.
no matter what.
No, especially an abusive husband, like, I'm not leaving anybody with you.
No, I won't even leave my kid with like I don't know what I can compare this to. Like, I don't let him he doesn't ever have to even have, like, minor inconveniences, much less
That is
Rusty.
very true. Noah would just simply say, "No."
Yeah. So, they were not allowed to talk about the mom after she left. Rusty said she ran off with a guy from the bar, and that was that.
Okay, dude.
So Rusty, he must have fucking killed her, right? Like,
That's immediately what I thought.
how could that's my immediately thought. Rusty must have killed her because who doesn't call their kids back or whatever? You're not allowed to talk about your mom.
And
Yeah.
Chris was talking about how he waited for, like, birthday cards, graduation, show-ups, like, he waited for her always, and she was never there. That made me so sad.
That was sad. So Chris tells his foster parents that he's on the ice cream murder case and they already know about it from the news and everything. And they understand the significance of it because they know his past. Like,
Mhm.
they're the ones that adopted him. So anyway, he just fills them in. Then we move on to Keller is at the sting operation, I guess is what you call it. I don't really know. So the plan is, so there's a truck coming in, like an 18-wheeler. And the plan is they're gonna stop the truck driver coming in with all the great value cigarettes, and they're gonna offer him a deal if he lets the agents stow away in the trunk. But it's actually 3 trucks, plot twist. So Keller's idea is to she runs down, she gets her vehicle, she parks it and makes it look like there's been a crash, and she waves the truck down. Remember, she's big, humongous, 8 months pregnant with twins. There's no fucking telling
Mhm.
how big this bitch is at this point. Like, imagine how
I
big
bet
I was with Noah.
I was about to say, I bet she didn't have nothing on you at 8 months pregnant. You 10-pound ass baby.
So anyway, Atticus, her partner, down on the ground and pretends to be dead. I would have too much dignity for that. Like, fuck you. I am not laying in the street for anything.
I would.
So it works. They get the trucker stopped and handcuffed before they can tip Rusty off. And they bust Rusty. And as they're searching the storage units, they find a decomposed body in like a chemical drum, like barrel thing. And I
I
fucking knew it.
audibly gasped when I read
Knew
that.
it. Knew Rusty killed his wife. So
And she had her sundress on, like, she had on what she was wearing when her kids saw her for the very last time. Ugh.
yes, so sad. Chris and the team decide that legally they do have to give the phone to the prosecution. They find out the prosecution's theory, which was that Jesse committed the murders, then pretended to be a victim, and took their phones to hide the argument that she had had with one of them. So Ella has a flashback, and she did have a date with Vince. So she was supposed to be meeting Katie, but Vince showed up in her place and said that Katie's parents wouldn't let her come. And then Ella said something that like really stuck with me. She said she knew Katie had moved away last year and just moved back. So that immediately stuck in my head. Like, so was she pregnant? Was she pregnant then?
And
Is there a kid?
and
If she moved away, you know why people move away when they're pregnant, to go give birth
mhm.
somewhere and come back and pretend like it never happened. So the kid went somewhere. But anyway, I was like, and then I immediately said, wait, did Katie have Jesse? Ella also said Katie's last relationship was a mess. Vince says that he and Katie are just friends. But Ella thinks that like no matter what Vince thinks, Katie wants to be more than friends. But it doesn't appear that they are in a relationship. So Chris goes to look for the mystery vlogger, and based on the most recent videos, he thinks that he'll be camping in a spot that they used to camp in when they were kids. And he is so convinced that the vlogger is Vince, but how could it be? Like, I don't think that Vince would have just left Chris all this time.
Yeah, me neither, especially not with Rusty, even though he got adopted, but still, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think he would have. And the vlogger isn't there in the spot that he thought. But there is a teenager with a bandaged nose holding a knife. So is this the kid whose nose Jesse broke? I don't know. So anyway, the kid demands Chris money, and Chris sees another teen, a girl, and she's like, help me, help me. Like she's mouthing, help me. So Chris turns into this badass and fights the kid with the knife and beats the shit out of him. And the girl is able to run away. And then Chris gets ambushed from behind. So was that the vlogger? Who ambushed Chris?
Who even like, what even is happening right now? Like, why is this important?
Oh, well, I don't know. But, I don't know who it was that attacked him. I still don't know. Even at the end of
Me
the book, I
neither.
don't think I knew.
Me neither, that's why I'm like, I don't even,
So,
like,
but
really
somebody
remember
did.
this scene. So, like, why is all of this important?
Okay. I don't know, but the girl runs away. She's able to call the cops. They come back and get Chris and take him to the hospital, blah, blah, blah. And then that's the end of day 2. Thank you for listening. Please leave us a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify.
Go like and subscribe to our channel on YouTube, join our Facebook group, and follow us on Instagram.
The links to everything are available in the show notes.
And 5 stars only. If you have anything less, please turn your phone off and mind your business. Bye, fuckers.